Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Nexweave show. We're on episode 8. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for joining from my Facebook profile. Today is Tech Day, right? We're basically talking about more software platforms. On that note, let's jump in and let me introduce you to the two founders of Nexweave, Inder and Ashtosh. Hey there, guys.
Hey guys,
Right.
Howdy, howdy. So someone's dogs sound like they want to come out and play. You want to bring them on camera?
No, they are tied outside.
Alrighty. Let's jump in, guys, because you guys have been plenty busy. I have this crazy graphic that I'm going to show about 25 companies that you guys have been working with. In the meantime, while I pull that graphic up, Ashtosh, Inder, go ahead and take it away.
yeah. So as you know, guys, we are heading towards the end of our lifetime deal. Uh, uh, we pretty much met the targets that we had in mind in terms of getting the early number of customers, getting conversations going, and the feedback has been amazing. It has kept us on our toes. We've been working hard to get some features out that you requested. Uh, we are planning to get up to 50 plus integrations by the end of this quarter. 25 plus of them are already live over there, and keep the ideas coming in so that we can keep them going. And we want to take today's time to run you through some of the updates that are going to be coming in the next couple of months so that you guys have a better view in terms of what is being planned from here onwards.
Please, absolutely.
So let me just share my screen.
Sure.
Can you
All
guys see
right,
my
that's
screen?
coming up. Yep, it's coming up now. Perfect.
Yes. So as most of you know, we already have a module available where you can now have your sales outreach that is hyper personalized as well as omni-channel. We've demonstrated how it can be used in the two classic use cases of sending it from an email to a landing page or a LinkedIn to a video landing page. And the number of channels will keep expanding because we're now having discussions. We've already had one with Bot Baba to see how we can have these delivered through WhatsApp or links from WhatsApp to a landing page. And now we're opening up new avenues in terms of where all this can be taken forward so that it becomes more and more useful as we tread along. We're getting inputs in terms of some options where this can integrate with Telegram, Viber, and other chat platforms as well. So while this is something that we've already achieved, I wanted to give you guys a glimpse into what's coming in the next couple of months. And I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, there were two videos that we put out today. The first one is on website personalization. So yes, very soon you will have the option of plugging in our SDK on your website, and you'll be able to change text, images, GIFs, videos on your website itself. The next thing that we'll be releasing is teams and sub accounts. So this is something that we had promised as part of the lifetime deal that we had done. It was scheduled to come by the end of March, and we are pushing as hard as possible to ensure that it does come by that particular timeline. The next thing is object tracking. I think we'll show you a video in terms of how this will happen. This came in as a request from some of the customers from the e-commerce space who said that we would want some of the elements to move along with objects in the screen. So if there's a model appearing on the screen and he or she is walking across the screen, there should be an icon, a purchase icon that moves along with her and stays tagged onto the item that we've attached it to. So we will have object tracking also coming very soon. Interactive images is another one. From the same e-commerce fraternity, we got a request where they would want interactive images as well, where you could hover over an image and click on hotspots over the image. And that will reveal more information about the fabric of the cloth or the materials used on the cloth, etc., etc. And last but not the least, 50 plus integrations is what we're aiming for by the end of this quarter. And we're pretty much on track in terms of completing them. We've already launched about 26 of them in the last couple of weeks. So getting the next 24 or maybe even more is going to be something that's going to be on the top of our minds. So there you go.
And let me follow that up with, I wish I could do a drum roll. I don't have anything like that yet. Give me a week. Take a look at that. So that is, I'm clapping over here on the other side. That's an amazing list of integrations that have been added to Nexweave right there, guys. Kudos, bravo. That's amazing seeing that list there. Speaking of sales rocks, and I see him on the list, we should have Carson come on the show one of these days too.
Yes, we had a call with Carsten, and maybe sometime next week, once he's relatively free, we'll have a comment session as well. He did mention there were requests on how we could integrate Nexweave with sales rocks. And to be honest, that's a discussion that's been actively going on since 2 months now, ever since Carsten became one of the first 3 guys who bought the Nexweave license.
There we go. There you go. And I'm going to mention what Ross said. Yes, personalization is also now taken to a next level, right? So from the very beginning, the focus was going to be on like photo and video with interactive elements on video too. So don't forget that. That's something that separates Nexweave from a lot of other players. Spot. So that way you could have like interactive video elements as well as personalization on videos, right? So keep that in mind. Then you have full GIF and meme personalization, but now website personalization too. So it's like the full suite of personalization. There is another one that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to get in trouble, but it does have not to do with audio and not to do with photo and not to do with visual. And I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it very generic because I don't know where things are at and I don't want to get in trouble, but it's been talked about and discussed, so I'll just leave it at that. But I'd love to see that list here and that Ross had mentioned. I was like, that list looks amazing, but I'd love to see that list also include probably like the basic, web platforms that we've known to come and love, like WooCommerce or WordPress, right? That just makes sense because, just adding it to the list, just so people are aware when they see things like that. Oh, hey, you're compatible with Wix and the Shopify page builder, et cetera, et cetera. So something else to think about, right? That list of compatible website CDNs, essentially. So yeah, kudos to you on that list. Yeah, go ahead.
So the very fact that the way we built it as a SDK, it can move into all of these. We already have a WordPress plugin, but we had designed that for personalized videos. We're upgrading that to support videos, images, GIFs, text altogether. Or I'll probably show you guys a quick video of what we in fact have on our Facebook page as well, which shows you a glimpse of how you will have the option of selecting which campaigns need to be activated on a particular page. It will open up the option of showing you what variables can be used and what assets can be used. And as soon as you scroll over a text widget, it will give you the option of converting that into a hyper-personalized text. And the same way, if you scroll over a GIF or an image, it will give you the option of replacing that image with the image template that you've created as part of those campaigns. So it's going to be a lot more easier to use as people have been requesting. Once it's on your page, you can just connect and swap it without any other code changes happening.
Perfect.
Just to add,
love that.
It is not. So just to add to Inder's point, it will work with any website, not just WordPress. So it would be a Chrome extension, and through extension you'll be able to personalize any element in your website, in any element, text, images, GIF, and video, all of them at once.
So in fact, you guys can let us know, like you mentioned, WordPress, WooCommerce, what are the other platforms that you want us to demonstrate? It'll practically work with all of them. But if there's something that you want us to demonstrate, we'll show you that particular platform as well.
Which just makes sense. I think that is totally organic to think about it and discuss. Moving on down to the next comment, and we had a few that came in. Cedric says, it's great to see the updates every week. Thanks for this. I just got done saying that, right? We as early adopters appreciate just the FaceTime. Even if it's not maybe even specific large announcements of any updates, but just the fact that people or Cedric's, an individual like yourself can go ahead and leave a comment because you're saying, you know what, I'm going to interact with the founders because they're taking the time to give me a half hour a week. The least I could do is send them a comment back just to show appreciation, builds affinity for both the founders and the product itself. I'm with you like that. And the update doesn't necessarily have to be a platform update. It could just be like, hey guys, this is what we've been up to, or hey guys, we'd like to get your feedback on this, or hey guys, how's everyone doing? We've seen other companies do that before. So Cedric, I'm right there with you. I'm 100% across the board when it comes to transparency of all kind. Right? What are you working on? What are you researching? Obviously, the guys are working on web personalization. That I'll take that as the update of the week. That's the next focus. So then I understand, wow, my investment into Nexweave is that much more valuable because now more personalization niches are going to be covered. So something to think about. Ross, Bruce, I'm stalking you. I noticed, brother. I noticed. and it's funny that right before we started the stream, I was like thinking, well, maybe we could get some sort of integration with a BC, and that could cause more support tickets in a BC to be opened and interacted with because it has a layer of personalization. Like normally you never see that. It's all just text-based. But what if it's like the branding of the white label agency with "Hi, John Smith," and it's like in a little photo, right? And a little logo that's at the top of each support ticket. And that support ticket could have the name that just gets replaced depending on the name of the person who's creating the support ticket. That totally makes sense to me, right? That's something that could easily be doable, so that way Nexweave shows how robust it is, and every every white label of BC agency basically can now have the ability to have, let's say, branded and personalized emails, so that way the email open rates are higher. And I'm going to be impressed if I'm a client or a customer and I put in a support ticket. I'm more likely to respond to that support ticket when I see my name on a photo, right? It's a little bit of the wow factor. Not everything that Nexweave does has to be sales related. It could be support related. In this case, it's enhancing the open rates and the interactions of a support ticket, which I've never seen done before, but I think that would be a really interesting use case scenario. Ross, let me know what you think of having a BC and Nexweave interact with each other and using Nexweave as a way to enhance the support channels that a BC provides. Think about that. Let me know what you think.
But just to add to that point,
yeah.
we had about 3 conversations with customer support focused platforms this week. And one very interesting use case that came up was that typically when you're just chatting with support, you rarely get to see the face on the other side.
Right.
But most platforms are summarizing your chat session and then sending that to you over an email. Mm-hmm. Now, what if that email also contained maybe a profile picture of the support executive that you're speaking to, as well as your name on that? So then you start to build more human connections that way.
I'm going to zoom in on me. I was like, ooh, wow, I really like the sound of that, right? So it'll be like, Bruce responded to your support ticket, and then you'll see my mug on the support ticket. That totally makes sense. Absolutely. But, because it would be personalized and the photo would change, well, it would be per agent.
Yeah, per agent.
But I guess that could just be hard-coded into the email response.
Yes, so it can be done either ways. We saw that many of the email platforms also give you the option of sender's profile. So while we were doing these integrations, we saw that on a lot of platforms, especially the ones which have got multiple reps responding to multiple customers. So that's where we got this idea.
So let's combine the two then to make it let's make it a workflow that can't be replaced. We should have the face of the support personnel that's responding to the ticket, with on top of the photo would be the name of the person that I'm responding to, right? Correct. So the name of the client that creates the ticket is called John Smith. So it'll have my name on there, right? Let's say I have like a little support headset or whatever. And the idea is to say, hi, John Smith on top of my photo. So John will know, like, it'll look like as if I'm talking to him, but it will be a text that appears, let's say, over my head. That right there makes total sense. The personalization is, done based on the name of the client or the person who created the ticket, I'm responding to them, but with the photo of the support personnel that's responding to it. So it could have like a woman, Jane Doe, who's responding to John Smith, and it'll say, "Hey John," over Jane Doe's face. That would be a perfect example.
Correct.
Ross brings up another scenario. I'm going to put this up because that was a really good one, Ross, that you mentioned. Ross says, well, especially when personalization is there to soften a disappointment, like no agents are available, your email's on its way, or even when it pertains to billing. Yes, 100%. And I'm gonna say something that I don't normally see, and in a way, Inder, you have a different use case now. Leverage, because the wow factor that Nexweave provides, and he's totally right, can help counter the disappointment. But the fact that you offered an extra layer of personalization that most companies don't even think of, you're less likely to have customers churn because of the fact that you provided that extra layer of personalization. By the way, for those of you who don't know, churn means cancel in any way, shape, or form, or move away from, or distance. So if you're in the business of, like, e-commerce products or subscriptions, you can have a customer that either A, may refund a product, or B, may cancel a subscription-based service. Because you have to give them bad news, yes, Ross is a brilliant genius, and I'm envious I didn't think of that myself. But yes, that makes total sense. Is if you have to soften the blow or let someone down or give them a gentle reminder to not come off as nagging, if you're offering an extra layer of personalization, even say, "Hey, this is our third attempt, John Smith, on some sort of photo." That also wouldn't be a bad idea, because then it looks cool that you're bugging them and not necessarily an annoying email, right?
Correct.
So that could help out lowering churn, and it's just a great way to enhance the customer experience. Not necessarily focused on sales, not necessarily focused on support, but it could be a billing or a dunning sequence. By the way, guys, a dunning sequence is, let's say you have 3 emails that you're going to follow up and notify people because, hey, your monthly bill is late. That's notification number 1. Or sign up for monthly, or this will be number 2. Don't forget to sign up, and we'll give you 20% off as a reminder, right? And then number 3 is that last attempt. That's called the dunning sequence. We just call it dunning for short. That would be an excellent optimization onto a dunning sequence. I like that. I like that. I like that.
In fact, I'll give you some bit of a backstory. Before we actually came into the community, a larger share of our users were from the B2C space.
Yep.
And they would typically use this primarily for engagement, not as much for acquisition. So this community has been using it in a very different way. So what used to happen over there is that once the user is already signed up for the platform, or the entity is sending out, let's say, 100,000 emails to their subscriber base, that's where Nexweave was being used to increase the engagement rather than acquiring customers. So we use some of these elements over there so that the responses to the emails that they were getting from the company were a lot more as compared to the standard emails that go out. And after coming here, we now are getting back to some of those old use cases to see how we can bring them back once again.
That makes sense. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's say, well, I'm going to go down that road a little bit. Let's say someone is also a trial user and needs to be convinced, or someone has canceled their subscription and they need to come back. This makes sense if we apply some sort of, like, their name on top of a personalized photo with 20% on this email, and then it's the same photo, and then it's like a 33%, and the moment they click on it, takes them to a checkout process with 33% coupon already applied. Things like that, right? Oh, that totally would help out. Absolutely. Save a sale or create a sale, or reapply a new subscription. Yeah, I can totally see that. Ross brings up a good point. Let's put that back up. Personalization has to be used carefully, though. This may be a generation thing, but too much can be creepy. I'm going to say yes and no. Yes, I could see it being a generation thing. The creep factor will go away little by little the more and more people start seeing the level of personalization. And once they realize, let's say they don't even have social media, right? Let's say they don't have Facebook, they don't have YouTube, and it's just simply a business account, and they're getting personalized emails back to a business account. Like I have business accounts that have nothing to do with social media. I'll understand that level of personalization came from the domain of my email address or just my company website, right? So I think more and more as the world starts getting exposed to personalization products, that's going to be less and less of an issue, Ross. I could see how it will be and how it might be to existing clients, but I think the more and more exposure that comes to, hey, we're going to address you by name on a photo or by a video pops up in their mail, might be a little creepy to some. It's going to be appealing, interesting, or exciting to others, maybe the majority. I could see the more that they're exposed to that, it'll start going away, especially when they start realizing, oh, their email that their personal email that they used is not even used on social media. So that fear of privacy, right? They're intruding on my privacy. That fear kind of goes away. But I do see your point. So I'm going to agree with half of it for sure. Okay, Cody.
And I think that's a valid point because yeah, we also advise our clients that use personalization in a way such that it gets you the advantage rather than scares the audience away. Okay, so some of our early examples included some emails being sent out by fintech firms where they wanted to educate individuals on their financial standing or something like that. Now, those can be very helpful scenarios if you can summarize it well and deliver it as a personalized message. But at the same end, we saw some examples where people were kind of trying to scrape a lot of data and then send out an email to someone on the first contact, which is something that we usually not advise, because that way you most likely scare that guy off from what's just happened with him rather than build a relationship.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. Let's move on down to the next one. So we have Cody. Cody, thank you for joining us today. Very exciting news. Glad you liked all that. This is a good question since it's coming up. Do you plan to add a continually integration? Well, I think that's just a also very support-based platform. Heavy on bots. They also have a chat solution. That would not be a bad problem. Them and that wouldn't be a bad problem.
So I think continually has already been added. If not, it's going to be added in a few days or so. So continually is definitely on the cards. We've got some requests for platforms like Go High Level and Klaviyo as well. So keep those requests coming in because that will help us prioritize the integrations that need to be taken up. I'm saying this because we have to select integrations based on the requests that are coming in. We anyways are on Zapier, Integromat, Pabbly, Integrately, Connexit. So with them, you can anyways use it with 300 plus applications. But if you want specific ones where you have to bypass these applications and use them directly with us, then just let us know. Continually is either there or it's coming in a couple of days.
And I'm going to put this on here, Cody, for you too. If you're looking for specific integration, please look at the roadmap. It's product stash, so that way you either can submit it, or once you create the request for an integration, let's go ahead and share it out to the groups and get people to vote on it. So that way the Nexweave team will see what needs to be prioritized. So let's say instantly we had like 15 or 20 votes for continually, or for what was the other bot platform? BotStar, right? Let's say either one of those you wanted to see green lighted and expedited as soon as possible. Get a few votes, right? Submit it into the roadmap and get a few votes. And then that means Ashtosh and Ender are going to have to reach out to those teams as soon as possible because it's like the number 1, number 2, number 3 most requested thing on the roadmap. So something to keep in mind, guys. Hope that helps. Cedric, ActiveChat integration would be great. And I agree with you on that. I don't know if they're open integrations yet because I know, well, we all know they've had their platform get restructured once or twice. But if they're open integrations now, yeah, I agree with you because they have such a massive following. Yeah, that would be an excellent way to go. Not had a conversation myself with Andre. My team did, but I know they had some great success. My team was involved with helping them out with their pricing structuring on their AppSumo 2019. So kudos to ActiveChat for not just having one of the most successful launches of 2019, but also I heard that their platform is very fast and stable now as of the most recent refresh to the platform. So good point and good idea regarding ActiveChat as well. I'm gonna cover this real quick, and similar to Spot where there was hotspots on there. Can we use this to host an image within it? It'll have clickable images due to having a interactive hotspot element inside WordPress. Sure. So basically, you're embedding a player of a photo that has interactive elements like hotspots, and you can click on it, and there'll be clickable images, with hotspots that maybe open another image. That's a good question.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
So within video, this is already there. Something that we've not pointed out is that we'll be adding widgets as well, and the variety of widgets are going to be purpose specific. So we're interacting with different kind of businesses to see what kind of interaction they want. Do they want a clickable hotspot that opens up an overlay which has the product information, or do they want it to be something different? So that's why we're taking in inputs from businesses to see what is going to be structured. And you'll probably see a glimpse of the first couple of widgets coming in very soon. On that point, let me also show you the two updates that we were talking about. So I'm going to just share my screen.
Sure. All right, got it.
So this is a glimpse of how our website personalization would work. If you notice on the top, you will have the option to select the campaigns that you want to plug into this particular page. So you will have the flexibility to have as many campaigns as you want. So let's say you built a campaign which is specific to images, or there are others for videos. So you'll be able to go and select all the campaigns that you need on the top over here. It will give you a drop down using your API key. Once those campaigns are available and you hover over any text component, you will see all the variables that have been used as part of those campaigns that you can plug in into your landing page itself. And same way, if you hover over an image and that image can be replaced with another image template, you would see a gallery of those images so that you can replace them and use them as part of your website personalization piece. So that's the part on website personalization. And I'm going to quickly show you guys a glimpse of object tracking as well.
There we go.
So very soon you'll be able to tag objects on the frame, and the shopping icon or the interactive icon will move along with the object in and out of the frame. So these are the two major updates that are going to be coming in. And this is just the beginning of the kind of personalization or interactive elements that you can now start using in a variety of experiences. And all of this will most likely be available by the end of this quarter itself. We're trying to squeeze as much as we can, take in inputs from you guys, take in integration requests, etc., etc. And yeah, our team is on their toes to see that we make sure all the commitments that we've given so far, they're being met as per the timelines itself.
Yeah. So just to add for object tracking, as you saw this over here, so this is like dynamic tracking. So you can just drop a block on any of the object which you want to track. So it will follow the path without any human intervention. So it will detect it automatically. And in case if you wanted to follow a specific path, not just an object, and then there'll also be an option to manually draw a path on the player, and then the object will follow the design path. So that's both the option will be available.
So I'm gonna put this up there right now. Clickable video hotspot tracking. I'm gonna play that one more time. I'm gonna play that video one more time.
So I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but at the end of the video, the hotspot is being clicked, and on the click of the video of the hotspot, we are directing to nexweave.com. So it's a CTA.
That's still crazy. Like I didn't even cross my mind, but I was like, wow, you literally have hotspots that show the interactive elements, and you move it and track it across the screen. How have I? That to me has potential game changer elements right there. Because if you have, let's say it's like Nike or someone crazy like Versace is doing let's say Versace is doing like a runway show, and let's say it's a pre-recorded show, and then at this point, the media and presses have already talked about it, but you want to see a replay of it, and it's on their website. They'll be able to click as like a model runs down the runway, and you'll be able to click on that model's dress and immediately be able to buy it. But the point being is that the element that you can click on is as the model is walking down the runway, like you can click and follow the model and click on that interactive element or the dress if the element is on the dress. My God, I've never even seen that. I've never even seen that before. Holy crap. And then the other thing that I don't think we've shown before on the screen. Inder, do you mind showing that website builder again?
Sure.
Because the comments just kind of blew up when we showed that too. So wow, those are two major updates that just blew my mind. And they're kind of putting the competition to shame a little bit, just FYI, because it's like, wow, website builder for the landing page builder for personalization is a lot farther along than I thought it was. So take a look, guys. Right? You can change things based on the campaign drop-down menu once you've already pre-built out what the campaign is going to be for specific website visitors. It's not just being talked about, but you can see it already in action there. That's a huge update, just FYI. Both of those are huge. Anyways,
So in fact,
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little excited here, and I got 6 comments that just popped in. Let me put those up. But keep going, Inder.
Yeah. So since we got these inputs that many of them were not able to construct campaigns that easily, that's where we first tried to improve the various campaigns, which is already out there as an update. And that's when we realized that if we have more than one interactive elements or personalization elements on one page, the campaign flow might not do the right justice to that. So it's better to have a click and change sort of a module, which allows you to plug in as many campaigns as you want.
Makes sense. Now, if I want to host this on a website, for those of the people that aren't aware, would they be using a WordPress plugin for that?
So it would be so for the website personalization, it would be a Chrome extension. So irrespective of whether it's a WordPress website or any other tech stack, it will work perfectly fine.
Got it. So to answer your question, okay, so let's talk about that. We did video tracking and personalization. Is that going to require an embed link, or is that a WordPress plugin for the clickable video?
So nothing will be required. It would be normal flow. So the way it was going till now. So what will happen is user has to just define a spot on the video or the object which he wants to track on it. And once he draws the object over there, and the player will automatically detect the path which it needs to follow in the entire video sequence. So you can even have unlimited number of objects, unlimited number of spots defined on the object, on the video, or any number of objects.
Okay, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to tie it in with what Cody's saying here. It's great for e-commerce with video showrooms or fashion shows, but I don't want to limit it to just video and fashion. But yes, that was the low-hanging fruit. That was the low-hanging fruit idea I was thinking of. But let's go something even more generic, right? Let's say that you put on a display room and then you take a photo, but there might be 6 products that you may want to purchase from that display showcase room, right? Let's talk about that real quick, because I don't think we've really seen that. Is that something that is done with a player? Is that something that's done with an embed? Is that something that's done with a WordPress plugin? Is that available now, or do we wait on it? If we have a showcase of a photo that has, let's say, 4 or 5 objects or elements that need to be clicked on, and then it has, let's say, a mini photo of, hey, this chair. Click here to, it may have a preview of the chair by itself. Click here to go to a separate landing page, right? Is a photo-based showcase, is that possible now? Or if not, if it's going to come in the future, how is that going to be done? Like, is that an embed, an iframe? Are we talking WordPress plugin? What do you guys have in mind for that?
Okay, so for go ahead.
Yeah, Yeah. So the thing is that right now the video experiences have a single CTA, which is being placed in a particular spot, and we are defining the visibility of that particular component. Uh, Now, what Cody just mentioned is the exact use case where a lot of fashion labels would want to show their fashion show, and they
Right.
would want products to come and appear and disappear based on the visibility of the models. So, which is where the CTAs need to be dynamic, even from the location perspective as well as the timing perspective. So that's what sort of gave us this idea of implementing it in a particular way. Now, the first step is going to be such that the CTAs would be such that you click on them and you go to a landing page. The second update would include that you click on that particular object. It will pause the video, bring in an overlay, which will have more details about the object that you've selected. And then you can click on that and either complete a transaction or go to a landing page, etc., etc. So how the interactions would come in after that is still in our R&D department right now, but we will try and make it as easy as possible as we move along.
Okay, so so I'm assuming that's something that's going to be coming down the line where people will be able to have e-commerce like experiences from a photo, um, like a showcase. That's probably the best way to describe it, right?
Correct.
So I have to scroll back up, and I apologize as I move us forward. Miss Evans wasn't able to join us today, but she did want to give us a quick update responding to Ross, because you guys know that she's kind of like our brand ambassador or brand champion. Hey guys, I can't come on today, but here's what I could find. People are used to seeing their names in emails. Remember, she uses Nexweave on a daily basis with her campaigns. It's about standing out and grabbing their attention. And so, in her experience, that's what's been the overwhelming response. So yeah, Ms. Evans, thank you for jumping in and filling us in on that. We just went over the announcements of like the 25 major integration partners that just came out with next week. Ross continues. It would be awesome if there was a mini card that would come up and shrink and collapse in the tracking object. Correct, which we've seen done before with other competitors. Or if you click on it, it would, let's say, pause a video and a little preview image. Let's say if it was a dress, right, of that model would pop up next to your mouse as your mouse clicked over that tracking object. I think it could even stop or pause the video if someone hovers over the hotspot. I totally agree with you. Lots and lots of scope for development, feature refinement there. Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. Guys, any response to that?
Yeah,
I think
so that's
something that I just explained. I think Ashutosh, you can elaborate further.
yeah. So this is how the actual flow will be. So the video which we showed is just in the development phase, and the component which will be required for displaying the object is already ready, which is like a widget. So it won't be just a one type of object like string or collapse. We'll be releasing multiple objects, so you can choose your object, your card type, the way you want to show your products. It can be a product image with a CTA with a name on it, or it can be just a follow button like follows a follow person on Twitter, follow person on LinkedIn, something. So all these type of different types of widgets will be coming up. And yes, once you hover on the video will pause for the time till there's a pop-up which comes up, and once you close the pop-up, the video will resume.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
So if you have any ideas based on this discussion, you can go and submit it in our roadmap so that we can also prioritize the things that you want first.
Yes, please, absolutely. I'm a big proponent of showcases. I'd love to have that as soon as possible. I'm right there. I don't know, John Smith. I don't know who you are, or Jane Doe. I don't know who you are, but I would give you a thumbs up and give you a shout out. Please give StreamYard permission at streamyard.com/Facebook so I could give you a shout out by name. Moving on, Omar says, I'm happy I fully stacked. We are happy that you fully stacked too, sir. Enjoy your 25 codes for life. There you go. Ross brings in a good mention. If it's a photo that pans or moves or zooms in, kind of like a fake video or VR, yes, I would agree if the photo that you take is going to be a 2K photo, and it's like, inset into a website. Or if it's a 4K photo, then you can have a bigger preview and you could still zoom in into like a 720p type of frame if you want to zoom into a certain object. I agree with you on that, but it depends on the resolution that the photo was taken. And so we would have to we would have to explain, yes, it's going to be a 2K photo or a 4K photo at least. So there's a zooming capability so the experience doesn't degrade. How many times people are going to remember to do that, that's going to be iffy, but I do agree with you. That would be an optional workflow. And it kind of reminds me of the Mevo camera. Yes, exactly. You have to have the res. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Mevo camera that Mevo made, and then they were acquired by Vimeo. The thought process is when you take a video, the video is shot usually in a 4K or a 2K format on the newer cameras. But then what they'll do is that they'll slowly zoom in to like a 720p frame, but they'll zoom in to like maybe a certain aspect of the frame. So instead of having a full screen image, I'm going to pull this down real quick. And so instead of having a full screen image, what they'll do is they'll just do a zoom of, let's say, a person's face. But the person's face will be a zoom of 720. But if the camera zooms out, it's a full shot of a 4K scene. That kind of makes sense from a video format, but technically you could do it through photo if you used a 2K or a 4K res zoomed in when you wanted to interact with a certain element. And I totally agree with Ross, assuming that the photo player or the photo interactive frame would have the ability to zoom in. Maybe if that was part of the workflow, zoom in on a certain piece of a product that people wanted to interact with, like a pair of shoes that that you saw on in a room, right? And the room is a standstill photo. It'd be great if we could zoom in on the shoes a little bit because it went from a 4K scene down to a 720p zoom, right? That totally makes sense, and I agree with Ross on that. Have you guys thought of having that type of workflow where it could turn that photo into like an interactive photo, but one that zooms in on a specific scene because you want to interact with specific elements in that scene?
So if you're talking about videos, we also need to be mindful of the fact that when the media asset is moving, you don't typically go on to zoom into aspects like that.
He's talking about a photo, though.
Yeah, correct. So I'll probably explain both the use cases.
Okay.
If it's happening over a video and you come across, let's say, a pair of shoes, it'll probably be better to click on that pair of shoes and have an overlay which has an expanded set that you can have a
100%.
look at.
Right, true.
On the other hand, if it's an image, then if it's an interactive image, then we could probably look into these aspects specifically for images, because we've invested more time in video right now, and images would be now coming in that's slightly later. So we'll definitely take note of this and see how we can have these kind of zoom in, zoom out experiences also included as interactions.
Okay. Yep, totally makes sense. Ashtosh, did you want to chime in or say anything before we move on?
So no, so it's pretty much same as what Inder mentioned. So correct.
Okay. I really like that idea, Ross, about zooming in if you have a photo that has the res that's high enough. I'm 100% behind that. I like that idea. And that's the sound implementation. That just makes sense. Or a sound workflow. Anyways, guys, that's a lot of basically not just what the Nexweave team has been up to, but also what we're going to be working on. Inder, Ashtosh, before we let you go, I know we're already 45 minutes into it. Is there anything else that we want to cover or give insight to or hint at before we let all the fine people go today?
So we tried an open session last week, and we think we're going to be taking out an hour every week to have those kind of open sessions. The only request would be that before we have those open sessions, we want you guys to share in the demos that you want us to show you guys, so that we know exactly what workflow, what application need to be connected, so that we could probably cover about 5 to 6 showcases within that 1 hour session instead of about 2 to 3 right now. So that's one thing. We will have more open sessions being announced as we go along, probably at different times as well, because we might not be able to cover multiple time zones by having sessions at the same time. So that's one thing. The second thing is that we would want you guys to use Nexweave as much as possible and share stuff, because we want to make the community a lot more active. And it's also a request from us, because the more we see user-generated content, we'll also be able to showcase those examples to others so that they can learn faster, and it can help us turn Nexweave into a much more robust and useful application. So that's a request from our side. Keep supporting us the way that you've been doing. Show us more love, and keep coming up with more ideas so that we can make it better for you.
There you go. Astrosh, anything else before I let you go?
No, that's pretty much all. Apart from that, what we are doing is so right now you've just seen the basic components. So just wait, hold on. Once we start releasing widgets, so that would be a real surprise that would be coming up. So maybe first widget will come by end of this month. We're expecting it to get released.
You guys wouldn't happen to have a mock-up of what that widget would look like by any chance, would you?
I don't have
We're
a
actually not sure right now.
Okay. I had to try, right? I didn't mean to play the journalist and try to squeeze a little bit more information out of you, but you guys know I get eager when it comes to some of this tech stuff. So I appreciate, that you at least gave me the chance to ask. So thank you for that.
So
On that note, guys, go
I can
ahead.
just show one option, one widget, which is there is for the loss which mentioned, which is for e-commerce, the spot type of thing. So I'll just share my screen and just show it to you.
And that's why I was trying to stop him.
Okay. Ross, brilliant work. Keep weaving. There you go. But at least you understand why it's called Nexweave, right? Because Nexweave is literally woven into workflows and into other products to help enhance them even further. All right, here we go. We got Ashtosh. Oh wait, your screen share went away, Ashtosh.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Uh-huh.
You want to bring it back?
Yeah.
Okay, coming up. There you go.
So can
Perfect.
you see this? Yeah.
Yep, I'll zoom in on it here a little bit.
Yeah. So this is like the ripple or the spot that will come up and fall in the dynamic object. And once you hover on it, this is how it will come with the product image, the name, the description, and then here you can have some CTA or variable defined. Right now, just John. So we just improving the UI over here, and once we are done with it, we'll release it.
I have to say, and I'm going to show up on camera for this, I appreciate the preview, sir. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you. Guys, if you found anything impressive here, please share it. Please tell your friends. If there's a specific second that you like, include a timestamp and tell the Nexweave team. I love the what is it, like the interactive tracking on video, right? That would be awesome. Show it to your friends. Tell the other groups. Share it around to the other, like your other, let's say, Facebook chats or Slack chats. All we're trying to do, and every company tries to do with a lifetime deal sale is get feedback and get interest. So we'd love to hear what you guys think, and we'd love it if you could let your friends know if you found anything interesting here that you saw today. I'll keep working with the team to try to have them show new cool stuff that'll come out next week, and hopefully Miss Evans will be able to join us. Hope you're doing okay. And to everyone out there who's suffering in the United States and the South who, wasn't prepared to have a cold, frozen winter, we're praying for you guys too. So on that note, everyone be safe, wash your hands, keep social distancing in mind, and we'll see you guys all next week. Normally our regular times are Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, so we'll try to stick to that. Cool. Everyone have a good one, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care, guys.
Have a good one, guys. See ya.
Right.